Greetings, everyone. Today is Friday, December 2nd, 2022. I am Dr. Catherine Y. Brown, and I am on my journey to interview 100 voices of pulmonary hypertension. Today is a special day, though, because this is interview number 40. You heard it. So I'm not halfway there, but I'm almost halfway there. So it's a time to celebrate. Today, my special guest is Gwendolyn Brown. Welcome, Gwendolyn.
Hi, welcome. So happy to be here.
Thank you. I am so honored that you took time to share your story with our viewers and also those who will read the transcript from all around the world to hear about your journey. So as we get started, if you can just share where you're located and a little about your background. And I have to say, we have the same last name, but we're not related. We were joking that people will think we're cousins.
I know, I know. My name is Gwendolyn R. Brown, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Um, I've been living with PH for over 45 years. Um, I was working, but with PH, you have to not work. So I enjoy living my life to the fullest.
I love
And I have a lot of hobbies, and I love to sew. So that's me.
Beautiful. So when did you first hear those words, pulmonary hypertension, and what was your journey like to getting the proper diagnosis?
It took a while before I got diagnosed. Let me let you know. When I first got sick, I think I was like about, let's see, I was 23 or 24 at that time. And I kept having breathing problems, but they kept saying it was asthma. It was asthma. And so I went through all the things with having asthma, but I kept saying it has to be more than asthma. It wasn't until I got pregnant that it got worse, the breathing. And after I gave birth, I kept passing out, passing out. Time was passing away. And it was in 19, let me see, I started getting sick in 1970, it had to be 78. Right. And it wasn't until 1982 when I was finally diagnosed. I had a stroke from not breathing, not getting enough oxygen, fatigued, tired, and I was coming across my front porch and I passed out. I had a stroke. And while I was in the hospital, they still couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I had been in the hospital a whole month. And I told them, I said, if y'all can't figure out what's wrong with me, let me go home. If I'm going to, pass away, let me go home. And it wasn't until maybe a couple of days later, a pulmonologist came in and he said, let us do a biopsy of your lung and we could see. And that's when they came back and they said, you have this rare, very rare disease. And I was like, what? And he said pulmonary hypertension. That was the first time I ever heard. But back then they called it primary pulmonary hypertension because that was the only thing I had. I had nothing else. We couldn't figure out what was going on. And I did some research on it then, and it wasn't much on it. There was no doctor doing this, doing that. So my journey back then was hard because there was no medications, no research, no nothing. My doctor told me then, because I was 25, and he told me to go home and get my life in order because I probably won't live to see 28.
Mm-hmm. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness. So what, in terms of you got the diagnosis, what were the medication options? Because medication has advanced and you know that very well, right? So what
Yeah.
was initial medication journey like, and has it changed or
It's changed tremendously. I'm telling you. When I first, like I said, was nothing out there.
that's
There
right.
was nothing available for pulmonary hypertension. Um, they gave me Lasix, to keep the swell because I swelled up, keep the water weight down. Mainly they treated me for like I was having a heart problem, and that diltalsium and all that, but those wasn't for pulmonary hypertension. So I had nothing. But I thought I was saying, well, if I had hypertension, how would they treat it if I had hypertension? So
Mhm.
I myself, stop eating salt, start eating pork. It was a lot of things I took myself, and investigated and did. So mainly my journey, being alive this long, before the medicine came out, was hit and miss by me.
So and I want people to hear what you're saying. You made some lifestyle changes as well,
Yes,
kind of
yes.
dietary and
Um, I
exercise and
did. Right. I looked it up and I was like, okay, so I looked it up and I said, if I had hypertension through my body, how would they treat that? And I
mhm.
saw they were like, no salt intake, no this exercise, like that. So I was like, well, if it's just centered in my lungs, I'm going to treat it like it was through my body. So I lost the weight the doctor told me to lose. To this day, I don't eat, pork. And a couple of years back, I gave up red meat, so I'm only eating like chicken and, fish. So I really became healthy and walking and exercising.
Absolutely. So, did you require oxygen therapy at any point?
At that time, no. It wasn't until the disease started progressing in the 90s that they put me on oxygen. I was on oxygen all day.
Wow. You're not
Yeah.
on it now, so has it changed with the different
No,
medicine?
I am on it, but it's only at night.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
am
good to
on it.
know.
Right, right. I am on, but for a while I wasn't, and it just like as I got older, um, my pressures were dropping at night. So my doctor was like, "Well, let's put you back on oxygen just for night." So that's what I am. I don't have to wear it during the day, only
Okay.
when I lay down. So um, looking back and now everything it excites me when I see all the different medication that's available and
Yes.
the lifespan of living with it. I get amazed, I get excited when I see all that,
Yeah.
because like I said, there was nothing for almost 10 years of me living with this, nothing available.
Oh my goodness. And our mantra is awareness, empowerment, and hope. And
Right.
when you say that, I just think about the hope aspect because it
Mm,
does give a
right.
sense of hope. Even
Mm,
as I've been interviewing people and listening to their stories, I think, oh man, I wish my mother was here, to
right.
see this. But there are
Mm,
so many people like her who didn't make it, right? And so
right.
it is so exciting about
Mm,
the future. And I'm so thankful for those people who participated in all those clinical trials and other things, and
right.
all the researchers and everybody who's doing
Hmm.
this work. So currently, which medication regimen worked for you?
Um, well, right before I got on any medication, they were thinking about doing a heart and lung transplant. No,
Okay.
back then, yeah, back then, that was back then, okay? Back then, the only thing they thought about was the heart and lung transplant. So I had deteriorated so bad with the pulmonary that I was in a wheelchair. I was on oxygen all day. I couldn't even comb my hair. I was so fatigued and tired. So they said, well, let's get you prepared for the heart and lung transplant. I really didn't want that. I didn't want to put my family through that. So I told my daughter, I don't think I want it. And while we were discussing it, I got a call from Duke University. And they said they had come up with this new drug called Flolan. And they wanted me to be in the clinical trials for it. So they flew me and my daughter to Duke University and tried me, and it worked. As soon as I got on it, as soon as I got on it, I had no oxygen. I was off oxygen. I felt like my normal self again.
I love it. When people hear Flolan, I do want them to know that medication, it definitely worked for a lot of people, but there was a lot of work that you had to do too, because you had to be
Hmm.
trained on mixing the medication,
Right,
and it was a lot of
right.
sacrifice. My mother was on Flolan, so I tell people it wasn't like, I don't like people to hear it and think you just took a pill. You
Right,
had some work
right.
that went to that.
Well, it wasn't, yeah, it wasn't a pill. It was IV therapy, and that scared me. You know, I was like, oh no, I don't want that,
Yes,
and looking at what all I had to do every day, I
every
was
day.
like, oh, right. I was like, I don't want to do this. But then my daughter said, Ma, I'd rather have you here with a tube in your heart than me coming to your gravesite.
Yes,
And so I thought about that and I said, okay, but it was hard. It was, I mean, every day doing that, like clockwork and me messing it up, getting too much medicine. And, so it's something you have to think about. Can you do it? And you can't just do it by yourself.
that's
Can't.
right.
You have to have a caregiver or somebody to help you with that. You can't do it. This is with this illness and the medicine that they have out, you can't do it by yourself.
That's
You
right.
can't.
Do you want to speak to caregivers? Because it really is important. And I love the training that they provide to
Right.
patients and the caregivers. But any thoughts on caregivers that maybe our viewers do need to know about?
They are the most important thing in this is a caregiver.
That's right.
Um, I think their job is hard because when we get in our little pity party, they got to cheer us up. When sometimes we snap and we don't be meaning to snap, and they understand that, you know what I mean, and they help you get through it. I think that they should get paid for what they because my daughter, and I told her, she's been my caregiver since 40, I'm talking about 43, since she was 6. I mean, she's been my care, helping me with the medicine. And I told her, I said, there's nothing in this world I can give you to let you see how much, you know, I appreciate it, what you have done, the things you have gone on, I said, it's just amazing, for a caregiver. And they do go through a lot. They
That's,
do go through a lot, but you have to have them. You got to have them in this. So every time I see a caregiver, I give them their kudos. I hug them. I tell them, you are very well loved and respected in this position.
you said it beautifully.
Hmm.
So to all of our caregivers around the world that are watching, we
Yes,
salute you and we say thank you
yes,
for
yes.
all you do. So, Gwendolyn, I have to ask you, what is life like now for you? A day in the life?
It's different from what I used to before. At first, I was upset about that I had to change in my life. But being honest, to me, it made my life better.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of people look at me when I say that. When I say it made my life better, it made me stop
Mm,
and enjoy myself. Stop and think about, smell the roses. It made me stop and value the things that I have in my life. I'm not I'm not so materialistic, you know what I mean? You know, long as I have my family and a place to lay my head, that's my goal now. But my life has changed. There's things I cannot do, and I had to come to accepting that. Going up downstairs. We bought our house. The main thing we bought, was all on one floor. Because I knew I wasn't gonna go be able to do up and downstairs. And so, it does change your life. It does. But to me, it made my life better. You know, do I want to go through it? If I had to choose what illness to go through, I think, this would be okay. I wouldn't have a hard time choosing it. Did I have ups and downs and close calls? Oh, yes.
mhm.
Times in the hospital where I thought, this is it. This is it. Let's get it together. And then, times that I'd be like, why me? Why me? Why do I have to go through this? What did I do to get this? You know what I'm saying? But look, going back over it, the way it brought me close with my daughter and my son and my family, I wouldn't change nothing. Mm.
Beautiful. So I have to ask you, I share the mantra, the awareness, empowerment, and hope. Together we can make a difference. When you hear that and you think about the fact that people will be watching, some are newly diagnosed, some are
Mhm.
just, maybe they are amazing caregivers and medical professionals. What words of wisdom or advice would you want to share?
With I'm a support group leader, so when I get new patients and they come in and they got that sad look, you can see the sad look, I let them know that this is not a death sentence no more. It used to be, but it's not no more. And you can live a happy, fulfilled life with PH. Um, you can do some of the things that you want to do. I don't think there's nothing that I can say, oh, I'm sad that I couldn't do it. You can live this life. And yes, it's a different life, but you make the best of it. You make the best of what you have, what has been dealt to you. You make the best of what you can do. And I don't think I've been dealt a bad deal with this. I get to go where I want to go, get to do what I want to do. And I just have to be careful who I'm, around my medicine. You got to take all your medicine with you. So it is a different normal, but I love this normal that I have. And far as caregivers, the same too. It's a different for them. They have to take care of them and me. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
have to pack things for them and me.
And you.
So it's a double life they're living, but it can be fun. It can be, it all depends on what we make out of it.
I love the way that you said that, you can live your life and you can find enjoyment. So just thank you for sharing your words of wisdom and your journey, because it's so important for people to know that they are not alone. And,
Yes.
prior to all of the technology that we have, you sometimes would feel that you were alone unless you were connected to a support group or you happen to know
Right.
who was
Right.
diagnosed. And that was a different feeling. I mean, I even know for myself, when my mother was living, we weren't using Zoom like the way that we're doing now.
Right.
Think about it. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and you're there and we're
You
connecting.
right.
And so it's been a bridge that
Right.
everyone didn't always have.
It wasn't until a couple of years after I was diagnosed that there were any information, uh, or if I knew anybody that had it. I thought, at one time I thought it was only me because they said it
Yeah.
was rare. And it wasn't until the pulmonary association, the PH association, came out, and I was there at the first meeting. I was there. I've been at every meeting, to see. And well, like I said, it amazed me. Last year when I went, I just sat and cried. I did because it just amazed me how far we have come,
Yes.
and I'm still here.
And you're still,
I'm
you
still
know,
here.
and that's a beautiful thing. When I don't think I don't know that they know. So we do have to say people will call it miraculous.
Right,
You're still here.
right. hmm I'm still here. I'm still driving. I'm still going here. I'm still doing that. And like I said, they told me I would not live to see 28. And I had my daughter then, and I looked at her and I said, oh my God, I won't be able to see her get married or see her grow up. I saw my daughter get married twice. Okay. I told her, don't do it no more. But I got to see her graduate. I got to see, I got to see all that, and I'm very thankful and grateful that I got to see that, you know what I mean? Because and the medicine, when I go to the conference and I see all these medicine that's out, it just overwhelmed me. I just cried because, like I said, there was none for 10 years, none.
Mhm. Listen, if I had to have the perfect person to interview for the 40th symbolic episode, it is you. I'm telling you, the universe
Thank you.
definitely guided this. And and again, and there are more nonprofits like our nonprofit that's in my mother's
Mhm.
honor trying to increase awareness. And it is going to take all of us for people
Right.
to recognize some of the signs, get the proper
Mhm.
diagnosis so they can get the proper
Right.
treatment. And then from treatment, building a sense of community. We got work to do. And I'm just grateful and
You
thankful
know,
that we're not alone.
I tell everybody, I say it all the time. My husband would go like, "Oh, here we go." But have you ever watched that the Lion King? It's called, and they sing. It's the circle of life.
Yes.
Okay, that's how we all is in that one big circle of life that we have to work together to make a cure, to come up with research, to come up with a better chance of us living a long time with that. One person just can't do it. We all take a part in it. We all are part, a circle of life in this PH journey.
I love it. So we are all part of the circle of life. So
Yeah.
just beautifully said. I love that.
Mm,
Is there
mm.
anything else that you want to share before we log off for today?
Just it's not a doom and gloom disease no more. It's not. And I want people to know that you can enjoy life a little different, but you can enjoy a successful full life with pH, even if you have to wear oxygen. I see so many people in my support, they're working. One lady went back to work with her oxygen, so nowadays with the medicine out there and the research, everything is working. It's so great. You can enjoy a healthy full life with pH.
I love it. You have definitely given us hope today. And for our viewers who are watching this 40th episode, you have just met the amazing Gwendolyn Brown. Please
Yes.
share this video with people. And if you are
Yes.
reading about this, please share this because we want people to hear this story. All too often, people get diagnosed, they look online,
Mm-hmm.
and they see information that terrifies them. And
Mm-hmm.
they forget that it might be different, but you can
Mm-hmm.
find meaning in life. And so Gwendolyn has given us hope today. And I want to share that message of hope with so many people who need to hear your message, Gwendolyn.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be on this today.
Thank you. So for everyone, please stay tuned. This is episode number 40. I'm on the road to 100 Voices of PH.
Yay, good.
I don't know when I'm going to get there, but we're going to get there
You're
eventually.
gonna get there. You're gonna get there.
So until next time, friends, I'm Dr. Catherine Y. Brown. Thank you all so much for watching.
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
Gwendolyn, you are the best. This is going to
All
be
right. Thank you.
amazing. We're going to get to
Yes.
that 100.